Hello everyone, I Dhatri Parmar and today's my topic of presentation is Nature in Hard Times and Ecocritical Overview. Hello everyone, I Dhatri Parmar and today's my topic of presentation is Nature in Hard Times and Ecocritical Overview. Hard Times is written by Charles Dickens, and the Industrial Revolution transformed Victorian London, separating people from both their natural surroundings and their emotional and imaginative inner world, as illustrated in Charles Dickens' Hard Times. And the initial chapters provides a different perspective on hard times by emphasizing passage describing the evolving nature setting in a cock town. So, first of all, what is ecocriticism? This term, ecocriticism, was coined by William Ruckretz in his work Literature and Ecology, an experiment and in ecocriticism. And afterwards, Lawrence Bull was published his work, and then the foundation of ecocriticism get proper space in the time. And after that, while we are looking at the ecocriticism term, according to Marlin, that ecocriticism is an umbrella term for a range of critical approaches that explore a representation in literature or even in cultural forms of the relationship between human and non-human, largely from the perspective of the anxiety around humanity's a destructive impact on biosphere. So how the behaviors of or how the lifestyle of humans are connected with nature and how the relationship is works, that is reflected in the ecocriticism. While we are talking about particularly the hard times, then Dickens in Hard Times depicts the 19th century England's environmental and hygiene challenges, including pollution and fall odors in very first chapters. And the novel's legs of focus on plants and tree reflects their scarcity in city, that we cannot find the description of plants in city during the whole novel. So we can find the description of the industries and other things. Depicts the changing cityscape and diminishing imagination of resident in hard times. So we can find the description of the industries, the machines and chimneys and all the things, but not finding the description of nature. And he uses three things, a metaphor of showing, reaping and garnering to illustrate the transformation of the nature throughout the novel. uh, while we are talking about the particularly text of the hard times, the quote here, the quote is, I quote, "It was a town of unnatural red and black like painted face of savage. It was a town of machinery and tall chimneys, out of which interminable serpents and smoke trailed themselves forever and ever, not good," unquote, unquote. So this quote, we can find that reflecting the darker side of industrialization with the metaphor of serpent. In the very next quote, we can find with the a description of monotonous things, and a metaphor of elephant is given to the reflection of the nature in and around. We are finding in the very first chapter of the one thing needful, chapter first. uh, while we're talking about the pollution of river in Corktown, so basically the Corktown is a fictitious town, and the river is also similar to that. And this quote, I quote, "It had a black canal in it and a river that run parallel with smelling that," unquote. So this is reflecting that how river is polluting in Corktown, and Corktown's environment is characterized by pollution, including black water, ashy street, and poor visibility due to fog and gases. Due to these industries and other things are pollution which is there in the atmosphere, and particularly the river in Corktown is severely polluted, appearing purple, emphasizing the environmental degradation, which is the primary concern of ecocriticism, that they are justifying the nature, they are standing for the nature. And that is why uh, this description which was done by the Dickens is showing that, and how this nature is connected with the characters such as Mr. Gradgrind and Mr. Bounderby, because they are also similar to this kind of a harshy atmosphere or this polluted atmosphere. They are putting emphasis upon fact, and that is how they both things are connected with it. uniformity and emotionless society in Cocktown. So the Harry Furnace, in his article "Hard Times and Ecocritical Reading," talking about the hard times, Cocktown's building are described as an identical and lacking uniqueness, creating a monotonous urban environment. So while we are looking at the modern society, there are only buildings and factories, and we are not finding the environment things are there, and that's what even Dickens are trying to depict. The Great Grand Resident mirrors the uniformity and city's architecture. Thomas Great Grand and Josiah Bounderby by fostering emotional detachment and conformity. So, similarly, like how the monotonous life of people are there, that is connected with the nature, because the nature are similarly polluted, and it cannot it degraded by the time, and that is why the people of that society are passionless and emotionless. While we are connecting it with the present time, then hard times echo today's issue of pollution and climate change. In one of the article from the Hindu, Niyati Parikh says that the polluted river in Cocktown mirrors the modern water problem. And similarly, Gujarat has highest number of highly polluted river stretches in India. So even we can find the pollution of Sabarmati and even Ganga. So these rivers are connected with that pollution of the river. One of the book of Sunita Narain, Conflict of Interest, My Journey Through India's Green Movement, in which she reflects the idea about this green movement, and the book delves into her confrontation with major corporation and environmental issue of Tata Motors and Coca-Cola company. So how this company reflecting So, in the conclusion, in contemplating Dickens' concern, we see that environmental degradation, the loss of natural beauty, and the need for a connection to a nature are just as relevant today. Ecocriticism underscores literature's ongoing role in exploring the relationship between society and the environment. It emphasizes the continued importance of literature in raising awareness and inspiring positive environmental action. So, similarly, with the connected with Dickens, even modern writers are emphasizing upon the nature and how nature's role are so much connected with human condition. And this literature is helping in developing the idea of or developing the awareness about the eco-criticism. Uh, Here are the references, and thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
How does the eco-critical lens applied to hard times resonate with contemporary issue of industrialization and environmental degradation?
Okay. As we take example of that book, which was written by Sunita Narain, that even in a present time, this industrialization and modernization is going on. And this issue of environmental degradation, we can find even in contemporary time. So while we are connecting both the things of Dickens' hard times and this eco-critical lens, which with which we are looking at. So basically, the eco-criticism has three waves. And in first wave, they are focusing upon the how they are preserving the nature. In the second wave, they are focusing upon how the nature and the marginalized communities are connected with each other. So in contemporary time, how this marginalized community is also exploited due to this eco-criticism, because what the eco-criticism happening in the areas of jungles and basically nature. So who people are living in jungles and everything in forests, so they are even belonging from a marginality. So similarly, in present time, we can find that this industrialization, while we are looking at the eco-critical lens, that due to this industrialization, people are doing immigration and going to the town, and that's why the slums and all are getting too much developed, slums and all. So even environmental degradation, we can find that the area of city is now developing, that now we cannot find that much of greenery in and around, while we are talking particularly about the cities which are developed cities. So while we are looking at the eco-critical lens, through the eco-critical lens, the issue of industrialization is quite connected with the degradation of environment. So while we are getting too much developed in the industries, it has a negative impact upon the society, and it has negative impact upon people too. Okay.
Datri, do you think there should be more emphasis on nature in hard times?
Okay. So while we are